my fellow small business supporters? Savvy here. Welcome back to my channel. Today, we are going to do an update on something highly requested that I have been getting people just sliding into my DMs all week long for the past couple of weeks to tell me these things, and I figured at this point, it's really important that we address this all right here, right now on the channel, so stick around if you want to hear my thoughts following up on Rachel Hollis's.
Get you some nuts.
There was lots of memes.
Makes me wonder if I should take up lesbianism.
Chicago.
You guys asked for it.
Hey everyone, before we get too deep into today's content, I have a quick announcement for you.
Hello, ASMR Savvy here with the announcement. Today's video was brought to you by my Patreon supporters. They are listed on the screen right here. All of my top tier patrons have their social media or channel or website linked in the description below. So please check out the links in the description below to go support my awesome top tier patrons, because all of my patrons are awesome small business supporters. Thank you guys so much for being so supportive and wonderful. Back to the video.
It's no secret that my most viewed video of all time is the one talking about Rachel's divorce. In fact, not to brag, who am I kidding? Definitely to brag. But my video about Rachel's divorce now has like more views than most of her videos talking about her marriage advice, which I'm like, that's pretty cool because I'm not even famous, right? Maybe one day I'll be famous. Who knows? But anyway, I was very proud of that video and I was glad that it was doing so well and all of that was going great. And because of that, a lot of people decided to message me when it was announced that she had a new book coming out called Didn't See That Coming. Now, first of all, thank you so much to everyone who reached out to me. I love when people reach out to me about things in my videos. It makes me really happy to know that you guys are watching and enjoying them and that kind of thing. So thank you. But I wanted to address a couple of things in this video, both about her upcoming book and about some other things. So this video might get a little bit long, but as our friend Dave Hollis would say,
You guys asked for it.
So to start off, we are going to take a look at my YouTube community tab where I made this post saying, today in I Don't Want to Be a Drama Channel, but the universe keeps pushing me and Rachel together, Rachel Hollis has announced a book about her divorce. It's called Didn't See That Coming, and guys, it releases on my wedding anniversary. So I had to point that out because in my previous video essay, Rachel Hollis used to be an indie author. I was like, she and I have a scary amount of things in common and I feel like the universe keeps pushing us together. Either that or I'm just seeing what I want to see because I love getting clicks on my videos. I don't know. I'm willing to admit that I'm the worst. So September 29th is when this new book is releasing, and that is the 3-year anniversary of when I got married. So I'm like, all right, Rachel's talking about her divorce on my wedding anniversary. This isn't weird or anything. But then the more I started to read through the Instagram posts that people were sending me and read through the comment sections on those, I started to realize that something else might be going on. Because Rachel's book didn't specifically say, Didn't See That Coming wasn't specifically, this is a book about how I deal with divorce. It was, this is a book about how I deal with tragedy, grief, difficult situations, and how I rebuild after a difficult time in my life. So I was like, okay, I sometimes give people the benefit of the doubt to a fault. Like, a lot of the time people are like, Savvy, why did you go so easy on Tony Robbins today? Why didn't you fully yell at Grant Cardone for this thing? And I'm just over here like, I would rather give someone the benefit of the doubt, not comment before having the full picture, than report something wrong. Now, on this channel, I'm not claiming to be a journalist, but in this video, I am going to be delving a little bit into my thoughts on journalist ethics. And that's because I am a journalist, not on YouTube. On YouTube, this is just me doing my own thing, making videos about whatever I want. But I do work in legitimate journalism as well, so I think that that's an important perspective that I need to share with you guys. So I posted this, and then I followed it up. So this is what I posted after the first post. I said, hey everyone, a quick update. Since a lot of people are DMing me about Rachel's new book, I'm going to hold off on making a video about it until after I've read it, so that means October at the earliest. Here's why. I was reading the comments on her Instagram announcement, and some of her fans pointed out that her book's release date, September 29th, which is my wedding anniversary, is also the date of Rachel's brother's death. Since the book deals with grief in general, not just her divorce, I imagine that will be a major topic she covers, and I'm not going to be disrespectful of that. When I read the book, if it does have elements of trying to profit off the divorce, I'll be here to roast it hard, but I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt until then because we're all humans at the end of the day. So that was a post that I made to say, like, I can't review a book I haven't read, especially because it's possible that this book could have some legitimate things in it that if I came out and was like, wow, look at Rachel just trying to profit off of this, and the book was actually like releasing on the anniversary of an important death in her life and she was talking about how she dealt with that grief. I mean, I would still say you're not licensed to be giving, you know, grief counseling advice, since that's a legitimate job that people have to get licensed and certified to do. But regardless, I just don't want to be a bitch about that. Like, that's not okay. And what this comes down to, I guess, is a discussion of journalist ethics. And I'm using the term journalist here to mean, I guess, someone reporting on something because, again, I'm not claiming that these videos I make are an act of ethical journalism. I know that these are full of my opinion. These videos are full of me explaining my own experiences and interjecting them and admitting that I'm biased and things like that. This is not factual reporting that I'm doing. This is not unbiased, objective reporting. But I do think that journalist ethics is an important thing that needs to be discussed on the internet. A lot of you know that I write for a couple of music magazines, and one of the things I really respect about the job that I have in journalism is that it's all about ethical reporting. There is no editorializing involved. If I, like, even in the past, if I've written an article and I've been like, so as it turns out, this upcoming event will be a good way to promote this thing, I'll have my editor be like, oh, maybe you shouldn't say it's a good way because good is an opinion and we don't want to edit it. Like, it's like that level of not editorializing. And I know that's shocking because, guys, you don't want me to go on another political rant. If I go on another political rant, I'll get demonetized like I did in that video where I was talking about, like, I'll link it up in the cards. Anyway, I know that in today's world of like, oh, on Twitter, if you have a blue check mark, that makes you a journalist. And if you have a blue check mark on Twitter and have an opinion, that makes your opinion a fact because you said it and Twitter verified. Like, I hate that. I hate that so much. I think that leads to so much biased reporting. And I think that so much biased reporting is the reason that in a lot of cases, at least in the US, we don't get fair and complete information to be able to vote in a responsible way, and I could go on forever about that, but the truth is, like, a lot of you guys know, regardless of what opinion you're coming at this from, or what perspective, or who you plan to vote for in 2020, regardless, I think a lot of people can agree that journalism is not always ethical, that there are a lot of ethical violations that tend to happen, especially on the internet, especially in the age where a lot of websites are just looking for fast clicks because fast clicks mean fast ad revenue from the ads that are running on their pages, and that's what they're trying to get above a good story. So sometimes we'll have an article that's like, the headline will just be a tweet that someone sent, and then the article won't even elaborate on it that much. Like, there's countless examples of this, and I hate it. I really hate it. And while I'm very open about the fact that this channel is for my opinions and is for my own thoughts, I don't want to contribute to that problem. I don't want to be someone who's here like, let me review a book I didn't read. Why would I review a book I didn't read? That's ridiculous. And I guess part of this is that when I first started this channel, it was primarily a book review channel. Now this is like a hybrid channel of many things: book reviews, writing tips, author vlogs, anti-MLM business ethics things, and like, it all connects in my mind. I hope it all connects for you. But the fact is, it's a bunch of different things, but I started out reviewing books, and I started out with people reviewing books that they hadn't read, reviewing books based on a blurb, reviewing books based on someone else's review, and it's like, I can't review a book if I didn't read it. And as much as I know that I'm probably not gonna like this book, I have to read it if I'm gonna do a review on it. And I know you guys want me to do a review on it, and honestly, I want to do a review on it because I'm very invested in Rachel's arc at this point. I want to see if she has evolved, if this book shows that she's learned something, and if in this book, like, maybe she'll pleasantly surprise me and be like, so for grief counseling, I invited Dr. Whoever to comment on this chapter and give their best tips as well. Like, maybe she'll surprise me like that. I don't know. I can't review something I haven't read, but what I can do is review something I do have. So let's talk about it. So as a lot of you are probably guessing, I pre-ordered the book. I made an announcement right here. I pre-ordered it the other day, so I am going to be getting it. I considered, like, I was like, I don't want to really spend, like, I don't want to pay money for this, but I was like, I do have a Patreon, which is for, like, production expenses, so I can count this as a production expense. But then I was also like, what if I just didn't financially support her at all, and I got it from the library? But then when I had tried to get Girl Stop Apologizing at the library, that took, like, forever. Like, I would go to the local library in my neighborhood, and they'd be like, this library and all all of the Chicago libraries in a nearby radius have this on hold for weeks because everybody is on a wait list because everybody wants this book right now. And I'm like, what? Okay, she's too popular, guys. She's too popular. So I was like, that's probably not gonna work. I'll just get it. Whatever. It's already got the orange banner. Guys, we're already planning a takedown of Girl Stop Apologizing on my birthday. If you guys don't know, I'm turning 28 on September 8th, 2020. And I'm releasing my newest book called #Savvy Business Owner that day. Wait, where's the proof of that book? This is what it looks like. See, there's Chewie on the cover. Obviously, when this actually releases, this ugly not for resale strip won't be across it. That's just for the proof. But anyway, this book right here, my business advice book, my story of how I started my business, this is going to be coming out on September 8th, which is my birthday, and the one birthday present I would like is if, just for that day, this book could reach #1 in the women in business category and dethrone Girl Stop Apologizing, which has been dominating that #1 spot all year long. And I think we can do that because Amazon updates its bestseller list hourly, so if we get like a big rush just on that day of people buying it at the same time, I should be able to do it. I think we can do it, guys. What do you think? Ooh. Book page ASMR. Back to the topic. So I ordered the book and I'm gonna be reviewing it, but then I found out that she was offering a free course along with the book, that if you pre-ordered the book, she was gonna give you a free 1-hour course. So y'all, I took the course and now I will be reviewing the course for you. Hey friends, Unshowered Savvy here. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Rebuilding Your Life course. So I don't know what this course is about, and I'm going to do this course, I'm going to go through it live with you guys right now, and hopefully I don't get copyright claimed for this. We'll see. I will let you guys know if I got any value out of it. Let's find out. It starts with this video here that's not that long. So it told me that I was going to get a free, along with the book, a free, which I don't think that the course was overpriced or anything, because I know it's not free, obviously it's included in the price of the book, but the hardcover was only $14, which for a hardcover, that is not bad at all, so I have no qualms with that. But I am promised an hour-long course.
Hey guys, thank you so much for pre-ordering my new book.
You're welcome. Every once in a while, I'm like, should I make a video class? But I feel like they're sleazy. And I feel bad about that because, I've used Skillshare and stuff in the past. This video is not sponsored by Skillshare. I wish it was. But I've used Skillshare and things like that to learn things. And I'm like, video classes, I feel like, can work sometimes. And then for a while, I was like, in the process of developing a public speaking for authors video class that I was either going to put up on Skillshare or put as a video stuff on my Patreon. But then I was like, what if instead I just wrote a few chapters about that in my business book that I'm working on? And I'm not sure. I just feel like once you put out a video course and advertise your video course, everyone's going to be like, you're one of those types. You read a Grant Cardone book, didn't you? At least that's how I feel like.
Hey guys.
10 whole seconds to just see the name of the course that I've seen a bunch of times already. And maybe this is because I edit videos constantly and I am constantly cutting out dead space and trying to keep my audience's attention. This feels intentional, it's a tactic of we have an hour-long course. It feels like she's trying to pad out this hour. It's in total is an hour and 5 minutes. Okay, so you know what? I'll chalk that up to the extra 5 minutes. You're still good, Rachel.
Just to give you a little bit of a backstory, I was in my second week of quarantine. I was in the middle of edits on what was going to be my next book.
Who remembers the second week of quarantine? Put in the comments below what you were doing your second week of quarantine. I was playing Animal Crossing nonstop. I was playing Animal Crossing 20 hours a day. Maybe I needed a self-help book called Girl, Stop Playing Video Games and Get Your Work Done.
Girl, What the Health, which was a...
Wait, her third book was gonna be called Girl, What the Health? I don't know how I feel about that.
Conversation is a conversation all about women and health and body image and this idea of health being about the way you feel.
Let me know in the comments below if you would take body image advice from Rachel. Would you take body image advice from the woman who in 2 books now has told us that there are no overweight animals in nature and therefore we're abusing our bodies if we eat too much? Would you take body positivity advice from this woman who goes on her Instagram and is like, here's my kale smoothie that I drink every morning. It's gross, but it helps me be really skinny. Would you take advice from this woman who, her rhetoric gives me flashbacks to my brief stint in the pro-eating disorder community back when I was severely mentally ill and not yet medicated? Would you take body positivity advice from her? I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt and say maybe during quarantine time she has had a come to Jesus moment. But based on my previous interactions with Rachel, I would not take body positivity advice from her whatsoever.
It's also this conversation about what to do when you're coming through grief, what to do when you're experiencing loss, what to do when you're walking through trauma. Those are things I've definitely encountered, unfortunately, many times in my life. And so I felt like
I have mixed feelings on this. To an extent, I'm glad Rachel's going to talk about trauma. I feel like if she wants to write a book about healing from trauma, it would be best to write one, like, along with the therapist, which who knows? I haven't read the book yet, so I can't say. Maybe there will be passages from someone licensed in there giving their backup information, and if there is, then I will commend that. But I feel like, you know, she's definitely not the qualified person to be doing this. I do, on the other hand, though, think that it's good that she is addressing the grief that she's gone through in her life, because in Girl Wash Your Face, like, she talked about some seriously messed up things she'd experienced in her life and then glossed over them to focus on the control your destiny, girl, be yourself, that kind of thing. And it was like, this feels like toxic positivity out the ass. So I do hope that she is actually going to acknowledge and delve into some of that deeper, but I hope she does it in a responsible way. So again, that's a thing I'm going to have to wait and see more about.
like a bit of an authority on how to walk through something hard.
You are not an authority. Rachel, you are not an authority. There are people who go to school who take board certification tests to become an authority. You do not get to be an authority just because you have 1 million Instagram followers. You don't get to be an authority. Like, I've gone through shitty things in life too. Like, I mean, again, this is partially why I've become empathetic to Rachel, because all of this, and this is, I guess, the whole curated imperfection thing that's roping me in, and maybe I'll be a cult follower, I don't know, but my point is that, yes, I know the types of things she's gone through based on what I've read, and I've gone through a lot of similar things as that in my life, and I don't think I'm an expert. Like, I've gone through serious family trauma. I'm not an expert on family therapy, though. A family therapist is an expert on that. I wouldn't be qualified to write a book about how to... Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense.
So I talked to my editor and I asked her if we could do something crazy. In publishing, it's called crashing a book, which is when you essentially write something and get it to print in a matter of months.
Us in the rapid release indie author community do that all the time. I'm not, no shade, like, it is a hard thing to get a book fully written and produced, and I'm not even a fully rapid release author. Like, I have friends who are in the legitimate, like, rapid release indie author community. It's generally for romance books, and they'll put a novel out literally every 2 months, every 4 months. They'll put out 4 to 6 books a year sometimes, and it's because, you know, they have them up on Kindle Unlimited, and they have a dedicated group of readers who's looking to download the next thing, and that's the cycle of their rolling royalty payments, and that's how they make their entire living. So this is not, again, most people wouldn't know this, I guess, because this is a book world thing, but, like, this is Savvy Writes Books. You're here for my talk on the business and the book and the publishing and all of these worlds. But when she's like, this is so crazy, we're going to put out a book in a matter of months, like, I put out books in a matter of months all the time. It's unusual. Like, I think this was put out by, I think, Day Street Books, which is owned by HarperCollins. So for someone in a HarperCollins owned imprint, yes, it might be crazy to do that because it's a big corporation operating on a slower scale. But if you're in the small press world, if you're in the indie press world, if you're in the self-publishing world, if you're in any of the small business style author worlds, putting out a book in a matter of months is par for the course for us. Welcome to the club, Rachel.
So I wrote with the intention that it would be something for all of us as we come out.
Rachel, we're almost 4 minutes into this now, and you're still just talking about what you intend for the book to be. I don't give a fuck what you intend. I'm sorry, I don't have the book yet. It's not out yet. I can't read it yet. So what you intend it to be doesn't matter. You said this was going to be a course on how to rebuild my life, and so far all you've told me is about your intentions for a book that I haven't read yet. So girl, get to the point.
By the time I got edits back on the book, my marriage was over.
Stopped at 420, blaze it, Rachel. Maybe that should be a book. Girl, smoke some weed. What do you think smoking weed with Rachel would be like? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here because, I made an hour and like a whole like feature-length movie-long video about Rachel's marriage. So you guys have probably already watched that. Like probably half of my subscribers found me through that video. I won't fault her because it's clear that before the divorce happened, the book was already in the works and on a publication schedule. So at least for someone like me who writes books for a living, right? Who writes books. I'm SAVY Writes Books. I write books all the time. And I have a publication schedule. And like, for example, I'm writing my business book, #SavvyBusinessOwner. It's my first like self-help style thing because I turn into Rachel more with every day of my life. I scheduled to release this book on my 28th birthday, September 8th, 2020, months ago. I planned for that. So if something crazy happened in my life right now, well, actually something did. Here's a perfect example, right? Like the pandemic itself I've made a couple videos about this. I'll link it up in the cards. It's completely altered my trajectory for how I run a small business when I used to make the majority of my money at events and at in-person type of things. So I had this business book that I had written and was ready to go. And while I was finishing edits and that kind of thing, bam, it hit me that the pandemic is coming. So I get what she's saying here, where it's like, if I put this book out and people were like, Savvy, how could you write a book about how to run a business in the pandemic when you're still so close to it? It's like, I wrote a book about how to run a business entirely. So I will not fault her for that. I don't know how much her divorce is going to play into it, and we do know that her marriage was already having problems based on her own timeline when this book was in the works. So again, that's going to be something we're going to have to wait and see. But I know that a lot of times, like, I have the urge to be dramatic and fly off the handle a lot of the time too, but it's really important to me that my criticism of someone is fair. Otherwise, it won't be trustworthy. Anyway, we're at 420.
Of working on our marriage for years, I can honestly say I didn't see it because I just kept thinking I could fix it. I just kept thinking if we talked enough or loved...
Wait. Okay. So Rachel's like, I just couldn't see it because I thought it could fix it. And then you were charging people for advice to fix their marriages. Is that irony lost on you? Like, is she going to address that? Probably not. I think she wants us to forget that. We'll see. We'll see if she addresses it.
Having written this book thinking that I was like, you know, like a Sherpa. Someone who's an expert kind of takes them up and guides them over the mountain. That's what I thought I was.
To have such an elevated opinion of yourself, like, I am a confident ass person, but even in my business book that I'm putting out, I'm not like, I am a Sherpa, I will guide you over the business mountain. I'm more like, I'm learning the process of business and people have asked me how I've done things, so I'm going to guide you through what worked for me, and we'll keep learning together. Reach out for me if you want further discussion, because we're all humans. Like, what? This is wild.
When I wrote the first draft of this book, I thought I was your Sherpa. And I was like, man, I've gone through something hard. Let me tell you the steps that might be helpful. I talk about this a lot in the book, this idea of continuing to show up for your life even when it's hard.
Rachel, I don't need to know what you're going to talk about in the book. I already paid for the book. We're almost 6.5 minutes into this, and she has not gotten to the class or the course part of this yet. She said this is an hour-long course. This is an hour and 5 minutes long video, so you're already at maybe a 59-minute course. You've already misled me.
This is the calling of my life.
Rachel, I know you don't watch my videos, but if you ever do, watch my video called Rachel Hollis Used to Be an Indie Author. It's a 45-minute video essay I made, and in there I talked about the fact that your calling is writing fiction. You are an excellent fiction writer, your books are entertaining and fun and cute, you had a passion for something and you sold it out to make money and be a guru. And that makes me fearful for the author world. And the reason I care so much is that I'm an author. I'm in the independent author world that used to be where you resided before you decided to take this path. So just reevaluate your calling. We all have to do it sometimes. I've reevaluated my calling multiple times in life and found new ways to put together things I like to do, but your calling doesn't have to be to give other people advice on things you're not qualified for. I thought maybe the divorce would have been like a wake-up call, like, oh, maybe I wasn't ready to give people advice on certain topics that I'm not the expert on. But instead it was like, oh, well, now that I have even more experiences, I can just immediately give people more advice. That shouldn't be how this works. This is disingenuous to your customers. Anyway, my point with that was, you have a lot of talents. You can use them for other things. This doesn't have to be your calling, okay? It doesn't have to be.
This is something all of us can take advantage of right now, given what's going on in the world around us. But crisis for you can look like...
I know this is valuable. I bought the book. Only people who bought the book got this course. So you're preaching to the fucking choir here, Rachel. What are you doing?
So first, I just want to make sure...
Before we get started, we've spent almost 10 minutes on this intro about nothing. Rachel, when are we gonna get started? Let me get a notebook. Oh, I got this notebook. This is so cute. I'm gonna do a shout out in another video that I'm working on, but one of my AuthorTube friends sent me this lovely package and was so incredibly sweet. It is Spence. Shout out to Spence. I got an amazing package. But anyway, this says make today lovely. And so I will write down my answers in here. No, actually, I don't want to ruin this journal. It's very cute and I like how it's like shiny. So I'm just gonna say them out loud.
Have a notebook so that you can take notes. Feel free to pause and really...
I don't need your permission to pause. I've been pausing for the past however long I've been here.
Dive in or journal about the conversation. There's so much power for us in writing things down. You are 5 times more likely to retain the information I say today if you write it. So I want...
Okay, you sold me. I'll write it. I mean, I am SAVY Writes books. It's not like I've been writing all fucking day because it's what I do as my job, but okay, Rachel. Okay. I'll write it down in my Make Today Lovely journal because today's going to be lovely because I love filming videos.
I feel like...
Before we start, we're 9 minutes into this video. Rachel, I'm trying to hold it together. I'm trying. Just like Rachel's took almost 10 minutes to get into the actual content, this workbook's like, look, I'm 16 whole pages. And then it's like page 1 is just a cover page that says the name of the course I've already seen 20 times. All right, then it starts. But then at the end, it's like, great job. Great job. You showed up for yourself. No shit. Okay, anyway. Y'all, she got the whiteboard. She's got the whiteboard out. I used to teach kids creative writing, and it was so fun. I say used to because I lost that job to the pandemic. Maybe that's what I should write about today. The fact that I lost a job to the pandemic because there's no more in-person school instruction. So I can't, they were solely in-person workshops. So they have been suspended for the foreseeable future because it's not safe. So I lost a job to the pandemic, just like a lot of you out there probably did. Rachel didn't lose a job to the pandemic as far as I know. But that's okay. You don't have to have lost a job to the pandemic to know loss. For those of you that don't know loss, this is loss.
The only way I can describe it is that it feels very close. Your emotions...
Like your divorce, Rachel, that is still happening, like right now? What? Are you going to address this?
Feel very close to the surface. You're still feeling very angry. You're still feeling very sad. You're still feeling it acutely. If that's true for you, then this is probably not the time to take this course.
Okay, Rachel, but that's true for you, so maybe it wasn't the time to write that book. This is knowledge transfer. Are you seeing the connect? Why are you looking at me like that? Look, she is judging me. Look at that face she's making at me right now. I wonder if I can copy that face. Take off my glasses for maximum effect. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if I replicated it or if I just don't have that smug of an aura. Anyway, this is definitely the time for me to take this course because I'm trying to review it for everyone.
If you try and rush by it too quickly, you're literally rebuilding on a foundation that's not solid. I describe it in the book as like a map.
You don't need to tell me how you describe it in the book. I bought the book. I'm planning to read it. Jesus.
Imagine that you just bought a tiny bungalow Like it's your very first home, you've decided to buy the cutest little bungalow, and you're so excited, this is your first home, and it's a fixer-upper, you know, you use your old Honda Civic as a down payment on this house, like it's... I don't have a car. It's gonna take some work, and you're doing the work yourself, so you don't have a lot of extra cash, and it's mostly livable, but there's the bathroom. And this bathroom has a shiny coat of avocado brownish green paint.
That's my bedroom. My bedroom has gross avocado green paint in it.
This gross avocado brown paint is driving you crazy. It's
Okay, wow, rude. I just told you I have avocado colored paint in my bedroom. I just told you that. Why are you shitting on my bedroom color?
not like also, it's not like an avocado that you cut open like that fresh pretty green.
Oh,
let the avocado have oxygen for 30 seconds and it turns into color of like baby poop. Like that's the color. You got avocado, baby poop, shiny bathroom wall paint. And you decide, I'm gonna make this better.
I've lost the plot.
You paint over all that crappy paint, and one stroke at a time, this gross bathroom becomes something new. It becomes white, this like beautiful off-white color, and it looks so hipster, it looks like Pinterest, you're so proud of yourself, and you look and you're, good job, bathroom, and you go head out to do the rest of your work. And a few days later, you know, because you've been moving into this new house, and you've been doing all...
This story is really long-winded. We're 13 minutes into your 1-hour course, and I still don't know if I was supposed to start page 1 of the workbook, and I also... What?
You're gonna go take a bath in your new, beautiful, off-white bathroom. And you're soaking in the bathtub. If you're like me, you get that water, you know, hot enough to melt your skin off. And you lay in that hot water for so long that, you know, you don't have fingerprints anymore. And you open your eyes, and your beautiful, off-white bathroom
looks like it has some kind of wasting disease.
That paint has bubbled up from below. The poopy avocado green paint has bubbled up. And because you don't know better, you reach out to touch, what is this? And you touch one of the paint bubbles, and it bursts. Underneath is a gross, disgusting color of paint. And we're like,
is this a horror story? Is this a thing that could really happen? Or is she like doing, what is happening? Wait, so if I repaint, like, people who know this in the comments, let me know. If I repaint but I don't sand the paint down, like the paint underneath can like start crawling out, like it's like bugs crawling from the wall in a horror movie. Like, is this real? What? Oh my god, what is happening? Can someone translate this story for me, please?
if you just try and cover up the parts of yourself that you don't like, if you just try and cover up the painful bits,
Okay, here, I have a better analogy that I came up with right now. So if you just worked out all weekend and your armpits smell really bad because you're sweaty and they smell like 50 literal used tampons that have been sitting out in the sun for a week, and that's how bad your armpits smell, and so you decide instead of taking a shower, you're just gonna spray some lavender perfume all over your body instead, and then people think, oh wow, you don't smell good. In fact, you smell really, really extra gross because you smell like a good thing and a horrible thing at the same time. It's because you masked your nasty smell instead of taking a shower. That took me like 10 seconds to tell that story. Rachel spent like 5 whole minutes telling the story that freaked me out. I think mine even works better. So, Savy's life coaching services. Hire me at link in bio.
it's okay if you haven't sanded down the bathroom paint.
I've gathered that, Rachel. Tell me how to rebuild now. We're 15 minutes. We're a quarter of the way through this class. And all you've told me is that your bathroom is ugly.
So if you are still with me, then I'm going to take that as a sign that you feel like you have done the work. You are still feeling that pain. That's still very much.
When was I supposed to do page 1 of the workbook? Was I supposed to do it yet?
Where I'd like us to begin, because it's a really important conversation, is I want us to begin.
Okay, wait, but I'm going to do page 1 because I feel like I was supposed to do that. I think I was supposed to do that already, but she did not make it clear. Stop right now, pause and do page 1. Like, if you're going to give me a virtual course, you have to give me actual instruction. Otherwise, this is just a video. Don't call it a class. All right, here we go.
So the first prompt is all about the idea that you are ready to rebuild. You're ready to rebuild your life, and it matters because why? There's a ton of blank space there. I want you just to dig into this idea.
The first one says, I am ready to move forward and I know I must rebuild because, so this is the question of why do I want to rebuild? Okay. And then this one is, what is your why? Okay, your why, God, I want to vomit. Anyway, let me write really quick. I'm going to just kind of spew why I want to rebuild. I know I must rebuild because I'm going to just write some things down and then I will share it with you guys in a moment. Okay, so I answered this question. You guys can see it's right here. I really wrote down the answers. And I'm just so you guys know, I'm doing this genuinely. Like, I'm actually trying at this course. I want to see if this does anything for me. So the statement, I'm ready to move forward and I know I must rebuild because, so I said, business is about adaptation. A cruel reality of the entrepreneurship world is that markets change constantly, and those who refuse to rebuild will fail. Blockbuster refused to adapt when warned about Netflix. Borders refused to adapt when warned about ebooks and Amazon. Now they're out of business. I'm passionate about every part of what I do with Forever Home Friends. Because of that, I must be willing to adapt when circumstances are tough. So that's why I want to rebuild. I know I must rebuild because the circumstances of your business and the way that you operate as a result are going to change over time, regardless of whether that's because of a pandemic or because of, you know, advancements in technology or whatever. It's going to happen, and right now is the time for me to launch myself forward in that and not let myself get stuck behind. So those are my reasons.
Just be like, Pam, just lock it down for a minute.
Okay, but we stand Pam. We Stand Pam merch linked in the description below. Hold up. It's time for some self-promotion. Oh, check it out. I've got AuthorTube sleepover merch now. Anyway, We Stand Pam. We Stand Pam. Pam eats pizza. Pam eats pizza. Pam eats cake. Pam doesn't write a book called Girl, What the Health. Pam is cool. I'm never going to tell Pam to shut up because Pam is my girl. Anyway, continue.
I do not need to hear you right now. I want you to write down, I am ready to rebuild. I am ready to create something new. I must.
I already wrote this. Did I pause at the wrong time? Jeez. Rachel, organize your class better. Oh. Okay, so please, okay.
All right, the next thing.
You couldn't have told me that for page 1? Okay, pause the video. Okay, I'm glad we're getting these now. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you. Okay, so next one. Okay, so it's 2 questions. Oh, it's 2 different questions. Why didn't you tell me that, Rachel? Okay. So what is your why? What gets your heart pumping? What is it that'll help you get back up? So her why is her kids. I don't have any kids. I do have a dog. Maybe Chewie will be my why. I answered question 1, and this is why this is not me. I'm not trying to meme. I'm being 100% sincere. I went on instinct and wrote what came into my head first. And because of that, what I wrote here, I'm going to read it to you guys. I don't know. I don't think if I said this to Rachel that she'd be qualified to answer this, because this seems like this is a therapy thing, and this is a thing I've talked about in therapy. So what's my why? I said my why is existential horror. As a child, I used to have regular panic attacks about how much I feared death and the potential for eternal nothingness that followed. Since those days, I became a workaholic young. I needed success in my career, and that career must be mine, my business, because if my life belongs to someone else and they die and there's nothing left, then my entire existence was meaningless. What do you say to that? I'm just, you're making me feel worse now, Rachel. I guess we're sanding me down. We're sanding down my poopy avocado exterior so that I can repaint myself as a lovely hipster shade of chic bungalow paint. I don't know what the fuck we're doing anymore.
There was lots of memes going around when we first went into quarantine, and probably are still out there in the world, that would say, you know, before you rush back to whatever normal was, you need to ask yourself which parts of your life you want to bring forward with you.
Whoa, is she in? Oh, okay. because I kept seeing that in Facebook groups, and the quote was attributed to Dave, like her husband Dave, her ex-husband now Dave. It was like all over his social media. In the rush to return to normal, we must ask what parts of normal are worth rushing back to. And people in the comments kept being like, Dave, did you actually come up with that? Like, he was attributing it to himself, like, hyphen, Dave Hollis, I said this quote is me. And now she's over here being like,
So there were these memes going around.
Rachel, are you admitting that Dave was plagiarizing?
Are you admitting to plagiarism, Rachel? Were you and Dave a plagiarizing Bonnie and Clyde for the 21st century generation?
You can see those losses as life happening to you, as life taking away the things that you love.
Life happens 3U, merch, link in bio. Does life happen to you or does it happen for you? Split the difference. Let life happen 3U. Here I am advertising myself. Check it out. We're on my merch page. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Stickers. Life happens 3U right here. And right next to Girl Stop Plagiarizing, because life happens to you or for you. Rachel plagiarized that right from Tony Robbins. Not that he didn't deserve it, because Tony Robbins is a fuck.
Or you can ask yourself how this time can be for you. And one of
the wait, she just I'm to you and for you. She went balls to the wall.
But I knew in moving out something that was very important to me. I'm the child of divorce, and I have seen divorce done so badly.
Rachel, the more you talk about your divorce here and what you did and why you think what you did was right, the more you're violating what you said earlier, which was that you need to make sure you're ready and far enough removed, right? Like, what you're doing is you're putting the Home Depot glossy paint over top of your avocado exterior without first sanding your whole body down and sanding all your skin away until you're nothing but bones and blood. Rachel, you must go through the body horror before you can become a work of art. Man, I'm just full of inspirational quotes today. I need to become a life coach.
I believe that we manifest the life that we imagine for ourselves.
Why do you believe that? I'm not saying it's wrong. I just feel like that is a sweeping statement about the meaning of life and like about huge existential things. Like, I think you need to back that statement up. That's gonna be my book. Girl, back that statement up.
Maybe you are one of millions and millions of Americans or people all over the world who lost their job because of the pandemic.
That's me. I'm one of them. I lost a job to the pandemic.
Okay, so I'm gonna make up a fictional person. Her name is Sarah.
Her name? Why isn't it Pam? Why are you so mean to Pam? Pam doesn't get to keep and release. Pam only gets to get told to fuck off, get the police called on her when she comes to your house to tell you that pizza's okay.
Sarah.
All right, I'm doing this along with her.
So I literally want you to go through and I want you to ask yourself, what were the parts of my job that I love? Something that she wants to release, the commute. Oh my gosh.
Commute
Sarah
is my
lives in
number
LA,
one release too. Thanks for feeding me the answer on that one, Rachel. I didn't have to think as hard.
She's gonna release that. When she looks for
Gonna
a new
release
job,
it like when you catch the sea bass in Animal Crossing. You
she's gonna look for
release.
something that's within her
Because there's no
neighborhood
need for that in your
because she
inventory.
knows- Down. Good girl. The next thing, she's...
Wait, hold up. Rachel, you're gonna address your dog off screen, and then you're not gonna show us the dog? Have you never heard of the pet tax? You have to pay the pet tax. If you address your pet and don't show them, then why would you do that to me?
The cornerstone of her life that she wants to rebuild right now is within her career. But all of these things allow for me to get very creative and kind of expand on the areas that I want to grow in. So something that I just identified, I'm Sarah, and right now I just identified.
Okay, Rachel, hold up. In the long ass time it's taken you to explain this, I already completed the exercise, okay? Rachel, are we getting to the time where you're going to tell me to stop and do the exercise? Because I've been done with this exercise, and I want to share what I found with my lovely viewers. So, can you please wrap it up? Okay, I'm pausing because I don't know how long she's going to take. Anyway, I did the exercise, the keep and release thing. So as you guys know, as I told you earlier, I lost a job to COVID. I lost a job where I was teaching kids creative writing classes. Where I live in the north side of Chicago in a neighborhood. This was in downtown Chicago in the West Loop. And so I don't own a car, so I would take public transit every day, and it would take me about 45 minutes to get there, so the commute was annoying. Honestly, I copied a few of Rachel's answers. I kind of like peeked over at her test and copied her. I want to keep things that are related to writing and literature. I want to keep something that I can do in Chicago. I want to keep a job where I have opportunities to be energized and talk to people. That's what was fun about talking to kids, was that I could be like, whoa, what's up, y'all? I'm Savvy. Let's talk about books. It's great. Right? And so what I want to release is, I don't need that long of a commute. I love going into downtown in the city, but when I do it every day, it just spends so much of my time. I think it's fun to teach kids, to see them find a spark of joy for writing, but the amount of kids was causing me to get exhausted, so I would like to leave behind that level of exhaustion. And I guess the lack of growth too is this: I was kind of in the same position for a long time, and I kind of like jobs where I can grow. So what I realized is that, well, lucky me, I already had other jobs already happening. So I'm just going to focus harder on those and try to grow in those. For the commute, I have a couple jobs where I can work from home. So just like this fictional Sarah, I'm doing my work virtually. I'm also going to focus on work where I'm already growing. And those are also places where I have opportunities to talk and be energetic. For example, on my YouTube channel, I'm making money on my channel now, which is great. So I can be really energetic and go, what's up, my fellow small business supporters? Savvy here. How y'all doing, friends? And if I do that kind of thing, then I will get to enjoy my opportunity to talk and connect with people. And I'm also writing novels collaboratively now. I'm writing novels with other people. Fridays at 12:30, noon 30 Central. Check out Savvy Writes Books. We do a live stream where I'm writing a novel with someone else, and it's a lot of fun. I also work for a magazine. I have good connection with my boss, and I've been growing up, and I got promoted to assistant editor. And so I'm just going to not look for a new job because I already have 2 other jobs. When I did lose a job to COVID, like, that was a job that I cared about, and that did bring in, like, none of my jobs are full-time, so it's not like I'm like, I have so much money from so many jobs. It's not like that at all. So it was kind of like, wow, I'm actually taking a hit to my finances right now, but instead I've just been actually growing and gaining more work and having more time to put more work into doing better quality work for these other jobs, and as a result I've been growing and seeing a higher return rather than kind of stagnating in a job that I lost. So great, I'm glad that exercise worked. Are we done with this one now? Yeah.
But I'm not with you right now. And it is so essential that you can imagine what this future is going to look like. And so what I'd like to do with you today is take you through a guided meditation that you can do to start to imagine. I just want you, I'm going to have you close your eyes in a minute. I'm going to have you close your eyes, and you're just going to listen to the sound of my voice, and you're going to imagine what I'm talking about.
Alright, so Rachel just had us meditate for a little while, which honestly was fine. Like, I like meditation. I think she did a good job leading it. I have nothing bad to say about it. It's nothing new, though. Like, I do meditations for lucid dreaming because I've been getting into lucid dreaming more lately, and it's really fun. And so I meditate before sleeping to, like, envision myself in various recurring sleep places. Maybe I'll do a video on lucid dreaming or something at some point. So anyway, the type of meditation stuff she was saying it wasn't really anything new to me, but, like, she did a fine job at it, so okay.
What are you never going to do again?
I've only ever done this once, because I'm a never say never kind of person, except one time I drank some shitty cheap Four Loko at a club that was very packed at the end of Lollapalooza. And then I had my heart rate, like, go up so fast, and then I also felt like I was gonna vomit, and so I was, like, incredibly drunk and overstimulated at the same time, and the next day I woke up feeling like the world was gonna end, and I said, never again will I drink Four Loko, and never again have I drank Four Loko. So from now on, I will drink scotch like the classy bitch I am.
Never again will I work for a company that doesn't appreciate me. This future vision of myself.
Oh, I had a really shitty job at one point, so let's try that. Never again. Never again. Oh, I love Rachel's face right here. She's saying it all. Never again will I work in telemarketing. That's gonna be, well, I work in telemarketing. From now on, I will work as a small business owner. Perfect. That was a decision I made at the end of 2015, was to never again work in telemarketing, and at the first half of 2016 I decided I wanted to be a small business owner. So that one's been in the works for a while, but I am committed. I'm going to see if I can imitate Rachel's face again.
If you've never done this before, my goodness, go read Girl Stop Apologizing. Like, go get it, like, you don't even have to buy it.
I did read Girl Stop Apologizing. Was this exercise in there? I don't even remember it. Maybe I was too distracted by you complaining about box cake when I just really wanted funfetti cupcakes and getting offended.
So all I talk about in this book is this idea of how do you take that future vision and actually make it happen in your very real life. So I want you to choose one goal for yourself right now. It can be it could be the littlest, babyest goal. You could be like,
okay, one goal. I'm going to choose one goal for I don't need you to go into depth about what a goal is. All right, one goal for myself. When I started this workbook, before I got distracted with keeping and releasing the sea bass in Animal Crossing and how I'm going to drink scotch and not Four Loko, I was talking about how my business has had to fully adapt because of not being able to do in-person events and festivals and conventions and that kind of thing anymore. So my one goal, in my video where I talked about how I've been adapting to the pandemic as a business owner, I talked about growing my presence online. Okay, so, I've got it. My one goal is going to be email newsletter updates, because that's what I was working on this morning on the writing live stream. I was working on my author newsletter. So regular new email newsletter updates. I'm getting my MailChimp. I got it set up, and now I'm gathering my audience on there. And if I do regular email newsletter updates, that's going to be a big part of it. So that's my one goal, is to improve my email newsletter. Awesome.
I'm divorcing, it sucks, it's hard, my kids love cake. So I'm going to learn how to be the best cake baker in the entire world.
Okay, wait, so Rachel, can we be a little ironic here? Can we just address the literary device that is irony? When your mom got divorced, I remember enough of Girl Stop Apologizing to remember this. When your mom got divorced, the main thing you were mad at her about was that she made you a boxed cake. And now you're like, now that I'm getting divorced, I'm gonna be the best goddamn cake baker in the entire state of Texas. My kids will never eat boxed cake like my mom did to me. But you know what the truth is, Rachel? Funfetti is delicious, and your kids are gonna miss out on funfetti because you have too much pride.
If you have a Start Today planner, if you have a Start Today journal, this is...
Oh man, Rachel, stop plugging your own books. I bought your book. I got this course because I bought your book, and now you're plugging, like, god damn it. I do have my Clever Fox planner, and recently in this, I made a vision board. See? That's cute. The text says, whoop, a professional writer is an amateur who didn't quit. I did that. Oh, and I set up my goal-setting chart and timeline. I feel like, Rachel, I feel like your goal-setting class is too easy for me. I need to take AP goal-setting. Do you have an advanced goal-setting class? Yeah, it's probably like $15,000 though.
This is not for the faint of heart.
Really? This class was easy.
It's hard work.
This was the easiest fucking class I've ever taken.
Right? And I also want to honor you because there are millions of people who will never try and...
Clearly, Rachel has never taken AP Physics, Electricity, and Magnetism, because I just about failed that class. That was the hardest class I ever took. This class was me just writing down what's already in my head. If you're talking about tough emotional work, that should be what you recommended earlier, which was going to therapy. Your unlicensed class is not going to fix that.
There are millions of people who won't do the work. They'll hold bitterness and anger and rage and sadness, and they will drown in it.
They will die long before they ever leave their physical body.
That's
And you're not
dramatic.
them.
That's fucking dramatic,
You are watching
Rachel.
this right.
Nobody is coming to save you.
To an extent, I'm like, yeah, nobody can fix it for you. It's good that she's you know, saying you can't just sit there and do nothing. Like, she's right about that. But also, why wouldn't you have a therapist on this show or like co-write your book? Like, why wouldn't you do that? That would be so much more credible, and it would make me stop complaining so much.
Thank you guys so much for...
Okay, cool. The course is over. So this was the course. I don't know what I would rate this course. I've never really taken an online course before, so I don't know if this is like normal or if this was less good than normal. I feel like it was vague to the extent where I'm not really enticed to pay for a course from Rachel. I mean, you guys knew I wasn't going to anyway, but again, like, if I were somebody who had never read her books before and thought she was someone I might pay for, like, because she offers business coaching, she offers those kind of courses. $750! I guess in business money, people charge more than that. Seasonality. Take them if you want to, don't if you don't want to. It's your money in your life. Back to Showered Savvy. Hey, it's Showered Savvy. I'm back again. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts on everything in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on my thought process regarding, you know, making sure I do an honest and ethical and thorough review, because I'm not here to report on something that I don't know the full story of. I don't think that's fair. But with the course, it's like, I do have the full course here. I have this full component, I can review this. So I reviewed that, and honestly, it really, to me, overall, being removed from it, the course felt like the same type of things she would say in her MLM speeches that I've reviewed on this channel. So it's like, I've already heard a lot of this so many times. I feel like you didn't really offer me anything new. At least that's how I felt. But I want to know your guys' thoughts in the comments below, so please let me know what you think of all this. I will see you guys all again soon, but in the meantime, don't forget to support small businesses. Have a great weekend, friends.
Get you some nuts.
There was lots of memes.
Makes me wonder if I should take up lesbianism.
Chicago.
You guys asked for it.